let's talk about Pokemon. I've been playing Pokemon since it first came to the US in, what was that, 96, 97, something like that. My age was in the low single digits, and I still remember getting red version and blue version with my brother. Um, Personally, my favorite Pokemon is this guy. Yeah, Charizard. I love it. You can tell that I was the one who played Red. I know a lot of people also really love this guy. Yeah, Eevee. I'm sure we all know this one, of course. But the one I think we need back is this. Black Jinx. Let me explain. You need context behind it, and it involves Japanese mythology. Jinx is based off of an ancient Japanese myth of I don't remember if it's a spirit or a demon that lives in the snowy mountains, the ice type, has the form of a woman with black skin, red lips, and gold hair that eats the souls of men. It has nothing at all to do with Africans or African Americans. That's purely coincidental. Again, hundreds of years ago, a couple thousand years ago, this myth came up with. That was a time when Japan, didn't know really about Africa. And actually, it quite possibly originally came from China, as much of Japanese culture and mythology, and even, the characters of the written language. I think kanji. I'm not an expert on that, but it came from China. So I think Jinx should be black again. I mean, that was the Jinx that I first knew. It is not racist. It's only racist if you make it. But consider a lot of original Pokemon designs and lore came from, Oriental mythology, Asian myth, and culture. The black-skinned, red-lipped, gold-haired female ice demon monster. It spawned Jinx. Magikarp evolving into Gyarados. That's an old Chinese legend. Carp becoming dragons. There's this mythological waterfall called the Dragon's Gate, and the legend is that Carp tried to jump up the Dragon's Gate, and those that succeed in jumping over the Dragon's Gate, in Magikarp being able to jump over a literal mountain, go on to become dragons. And the first form of a carp turned dragon is a serpent with the head of a carp, Gyarados. There's a lot of deep, Asian culture in Pokemon designs and lore. Ninetales, for example, even Vulpix, but Ninetales, the nine-tailed Kitsune. Kitsune means fox, but is also the name of the fox spirits that are known to be tricksters and very, very intelligent, very crafty, very clever. But primarily the nine-tailed. When a Kitsune spirit is first born or first comes into the world, it has one tail. Vulpix's Pokedex entry, I don't remember what generation it is. It's been so long since I've read those older Dex entries. So that when it's born, it has a single tail, and as it ages, its tail splits. That is perfectly in line with the myth of the Kitsune fox spirits. The nine-tailed Kitsune are the eldest, most wise, and most powerful, and they are white, like Ninetales. It's why, you see a lot of, maybe not a lot, but in a number of anime and manga series and Japanese video games that deal with, these big fox spirits, they have nine tails. Kurama, Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox from Naruto is one. It's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, but today's subject, well, this video's subject is Pokemon. I like to think I'm an expert on it since I've been playing it for over, 20, 22, 23 years? Since it first came to the US. And no, 4Kids did not create the name Pokemon. Pokemon, the accent is on the E, you emphasize the E. It's short for Poketo Monster or Poketo Monster, as the Japanese pronounce it. And the Japanese like to abbreviate a lot. It is called Pokemon in Japan. So no, 4Kids, actually 4Kids didn't even come up with any of the names because that would have been Nintendo Game Freak US that came up with it. 4Kids only had the license for Pokemon for, 4 years? No. When did they lose it? Was it in 06 or 08? Something like that. And fun thing about Pokemon, it was only supposed to run for 18 months, a year and a half. So that would have been the Indigo League of Kanto and the Johto League, Generation 2. It got so popular, however, in Japan that the creators decided to make it continue. Thus, the manga continued. It originally was a manga, and the creator of the manga, came up with it because when he was a kid, he and his friends liked to collect and trade various little critters, like bugs, I think is what it. I don't remember it exactly. You can look it up, but it's actually on a lot. I believe it's noted on the official Pokemon website, also on Cerebi and Bulbapedia, if you're interested in it. Yeah. And there's a lot of meaning behind the Japanese names of a lot of the Pokemon and the characters. Ash's Japanese name is Satoshi, and that is the given name, the first name of the creator. Gary, his Japanese name is Shigeru Miyamoto of Nintendo. Was it Shigeru or was it Satoru? It was Shigeru. Yeah. A lot of the Japanese sounding names of a lot of the Pokemon, even though they're not spelled like they would be in Romanized Japanese, like Suicune. If you spelled it out in the Romanized Japanese Romaji, it would be Suikun. It would still be pronounced the same, Suicune. Celebi, of course, would be Cerebi. It really didn't change because there's no actual L sound in Japanese that would be an R. Of course, it can be pronounced as an L. It's not. There's no separate character for L and R. Is really what it comes down to being. And then you get into, Pikachu's name is the same the whole world over. Pikachu was not originally intended to be Ash's first Pokemon. It was supposed to be Clefairy. And that's who it is in the manga. Satoshi's starter Pokemon is Clefairy. Granted, one that talks, but Clefairy. As to why the anime and games went with Pikachu, I can't say. I never really looked into it. It didn't particularly interest me. I just thought, oh neat, Clefairy was supposed to be the starter first. I could go on for hours, but I won't. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to waste your time rambling. But remember that I really think she needs to come back. Otherwise, you get the joke is Nicki Minaj. That doesn't mean that I don't like Nicki Minaj. I'm not a fan of her music. Her as a person, no opinion. I don't know her. But something else interesting, I think, that people might forget, or younger people who didn't watch the original anime might not know, or people might have forgot. Ho-Oh was in the very first episode of the original run of the anime, not the manga. It was the bird flying through the rainbow. Ho is a peacock. If you think about it, a peacock's if you look at your Chinese takeout box, it has the dragon and the pheasant or the phoenix. That's a peacock. Calling it a pheasant's not wrong. Technically, peafowl are pheasants. Ho is a pheasant. If you look at the feathers on top of his head and look at the feathers on the head of a peacock, it's a very similar look. It's a lot more cartoonish on Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh was originally supposed to be the 4th legendary Pokemon. Of course, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Uno, Dos, Tres, 1, 2, 3, and Ho-Oh. That ended up being Arcanine, but Arcanine, of course, as we know, ended up evolving from Growlithe, therefore not being a true legendary. There's a difference between legendaries and pseudo-legendaries and legendaries, like Farfetch'd or Dratini. Farfetch'd is a legendary in the games. Arcanine is a pseudo-legendary, as is Dratini is a legendary. In the Gen 1 games, you really can only get one, I think. In original Red and Blue, or in Japan, Red and Green, I think Venusaur needs more love. I believe you can only get one Dratini through a special event. I don't think you can catch them. You know, it's a prize at the game corner. I know Aber's a prize at the game corner, and that's the easiest way to get them because they always teleport. Unless you use a Master Ball, but why waste it? You've got better Pokemon to catch. So there's a lot of like pride in the fighting types, and that goes back to Japanese kind of culture. Your big heroes are your fighters, your martial artists, right? Yeah, I mean, you look at Dragon Ball, they're martial artists. Ki is life energy, and they can just use theirs at will, but it's still martial arts. It's a concept that heroes use their fists. Villains use poison, but not so much use poison, but it's the reason that fighting is super effective against dark, is that, heroes fight evil using their fists. And, dark is often used to describe an evil or wicked person or concept. Dark. So it explains why fighting is super effective against dark, and why fairy is super effective against dragon. Dragons are known for wisdom and power, but not the world over. Not wisdom the world over, at least. In Western culture, we're seen as a bit more just brutish, generally. Not that I can really blame story writers, but fairies are very powerful, come in many varieties, and can outwit and even enslave much more powerful creatures simply because of their intelligence, which is why fairy is super effective against dragon, and dragon is ineffective at all against fairy. As for why steel is super effective against fairy, that's a pretty common myth. Iron, which is a key component in steel, nullifies a fairy's or any magical creature's power and even harms them. Maybe not any magical creature, but in general, you use iron to ward off magic. That's a pretty typical counter to anything magical, really. So that explains why fairy is not very effective against steel, and steel is super effective against fairy, because the key component in steel is iron. As for why poison is super effective against fairy, I think they needed something more for poison to be effective against than just grass. And as for why Psychic is vulnerable to dark, ghost, and bug, fear. It's simple as that, just one word, fear. People are afraid of the dark. People are afraid of the unknown. People are afraid of the zombie apocalypse. People are afraid of the dead rising from their graves. People are afraid of the supernatural. People are afraid of bugs. Yeah. it it totally explains that. And also why Psychic is super effective against fighting mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. The pen is mightier than the sword. That's sort of one way to look at it. I mean, not to look at that literally as a comparison, otherwise it would be like, I don't know, something against steel, but as for flying being super effective against fighting, I don't really know. I think because natural flight is unobtainable to humans. We don't have wings, but we do have our fists. But your fists are no use when you can't reach your opponent. That's my opinion of it. Again, I could literally talk for hours about Pokemon. It's one of my favorite video game series, easily my second. But that's a discussion for a different time, and I'm sure you're not really interested in that. Pokemon has come a long way since the early 90s, and I've had the opportunity to watch it evolve, as you will. So yeah, I've seen things come and go. I've seen things change. I've seen not really retcons so much. One thing that bothers me: Ash is still 11. He turned 11 near the end of the Gen 1 anime. It took him a whole year to traverse the Kanto region and get back to Viridian City for the League. Well, to challenge the gym leader there, who ended up being Giovanni, but who was kind of out of commission after Mewtwo destroyed his gym. The Mewtwo movie is canon because remember, at the end, Mewtwo wipes everyone's memories of it. It's the only movie that I think is actually canon. That's not important. But at that point, I actually looked into, I don't remember what source it was, so it might not be the most accurate, but Ash was supposedly 10 years, 10 months, and 10 days old when he started his adventure with Pikachu. Meaning that he's already almost 12 by the end of the Gen 1 anime. So he's probably 12 now if he's taking like a month to go through regions now. He has to already be at least 11 by the time he gets to Alola, because in the Alola region, trainers need to be at least 11 before they can take on the Island Challenge. So I doubt that even the creators would make an exception for Ash, because it wouldn't make sense. Tradition is very important to a lot of the Japanese, and breaking a tradition in a Japanese product is sort of taboo to them. So it's culture is a big thing in Japan, and you see a lot of that in Pokemon. Culture, history, myth. Really, and you gotta respect it, and not try and twist it. You have to have, I know it's difficult, and I struggle with it personally, being a Westerner myself. You need to not have so much of a Western mindset when looking at it. And while we're on the subject of mindset, it's not really evolution so much as metamorphosis. There was a great game theory video on it, which it wasn't Matt Pat who did it, it was Austin. It was the science of Pokemon evolution. And it's metamorphosis, like, a tadpole becoming a frog, a toad, a salamander. A little tiny fly fish becoming a big salmon. Like, it's a lot like that, or like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly or a moth. It really is more of metamorphosis. And don't worry about conservation math, it's an anime. There's something I say about Pokemon and logic, but it contains strong language, so I will refrain from saying it. But there's a reason I have a Ditto named Logic in one of my games, and I keep it in the daycare center. Have fun figuring it out and think what you will about me because of it, but it's good. Yeah, I think I've rambled long enough. There's a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, and a lot going on in Pokemon, and a lot of opinions, and I respect yours if you respect mine. Feel free to share it in the comments, but please be respectful. I do want this channel to be available for everyone to view, of any age, of any interest, any lifestyle. And I would very much appreciate it if that was reflected in the comments as well. Anyways, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, everyone take care. Bye.